Hi, my name's Andrew Jenkins. In January, I was a finalist in Series 2 of The Traitors. Since The Traitors, my life has been crazy, but that wasn't the first time my life has been totally or completely rewritten. On August 28, 1999, I was involved in a very serious road traffic accident. I wouldn't wish that experience on anyone, but I want to be part of this amazing Headway campaign to show people out there who've had a brain injury or head injury that you can do great things, that you can achieve great things in life.
Hi, I'm David Baker, and on the 30th of August 2016, my life was rewritten.
David, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. Much appreciated. I understand being part of Headway is not the only thing we got in common. So being Welsh and a love of rugby?
Different end of the countries.
Right.
You're south, I'm north.
Right, okay.
But yeah.
So what was life like growing up for you in Wales?
It was great. It was, I grew up in a seaside town. When I was growing up, it was booming and it was a great place to live. All well speaking apart from me and my dad and my sister. Lots of work. Yeah. So it was great. Yeah, it was a good place to grow up. And then I moved to London, joined the police, moved to London.
You learned quite fast, I imagine, London back in them days. I imagine quite...
Definitely. It was, yeah, I only did 6 months in uniform, so...
Okay.
Then I went more investigation. Yeah, I had a great career. Yeah. I did a lot of things that a lot of police officers don't get to do. I travelled quite a lot, so that was good. That was really rewarding.
I understand you're a keen cyclist as well, a very keen cyclist. Around the world you've been cycling as well, so tell us a little bit about cycling.
I took up cycling to lose a bit of weight, to be honest. And,
right, okay. We're looking in good shape now.
And then, well, do you know, I'm about 3 stone heavier than I was, to be honest.
I feel a bit, yeah.
I was, my racing weight, as they call it, I was about 10 stone then, so...
10 stone, 10 stone when I was about 15, I think. No, not even that. When I was about 10, I think it was 10 stone.
10 stone in your bicep, I think.
So obviously, you were obviously involved in a horrendous accident then. Was you stopped cycling because of the accident?
Yeah.
So what happened? What happened in that incident?
I don't really remember, to be honest. I don't remember. I don't remember anything that happened. I don't really remember anything that happened that day, and it was probably a day or two after the accident that I can start piecing things back together.
Right.
I'd overtaken a guy on a mountain bike on my cycling, and I overtook him. I was in a cycling lane. Fortunately, he saw the whole thing. And as I was cycling along, a transit van overtook me and turned onto its driveway. So as I don't know what the lady was thinking, to be honest, but as she overtook me, turned straight in front of me onto a driveway, and I had no time to react, apparently. And I went headfirst into the side of the van. Yeah, that's...
Did you have a helmet, though? I'm assuming you wore a helmet.
Yeah.
Would you say that saved your life?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah. My helmet was bashed, pretty, as you can imagine, smashed up. There's no doubt in my mind that helmet saved my life. I wouldn't be here now if it hadn't been for that helmet.
So what do you actually remember about the accident? Do you actually remember anything about the accident?
Nothing at all.
No?
Nothing at all. As I say, I only know what happened through the guy on the bike that I overtook. Right. And from a picture that somebody took of the scene, which I still find quite hard to look at. Sort of, lying on that road, and I just can't remember any of it.
Were you unconscious? I'm assuming you were unconscious?
Yeah, I went unconscious for a period of time. I'm not sure how long. Somebody told me that I was trying to get up, because that's kind of what you do when you're on your bike.
Adrenaline, yeah.
You come off your bike and then you just get back on. Seeing the van and the dent in the side of the van, and I find it's a hard picture to look at. It takes me back there, but even though I don't know what happened, it almost gives me a picture. It gives me a picture of what happened.
Triggers off lots of feelings and emotions, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
When did they actually identify you had sustained a severe brain injury? Did they do MRI scans and CAT scans and things?
Yeah, I didn't have a bleed on the brain or anything like that. It was about a year after the year.
A year?
Yeah.
Wow.
And basically I can't... So both eyes work. This eye's not as good as this eye. I can't... when you look at something, 2 pictures are formed. Each eye takes a different picture, if you like. Right. And they go somewhere in the brain, and they fuse together to make one image, which is what you'll see when you're looking at me. But if I look at you without an eye patch, I will see you there with one eye, and I'll see you sort of almost at 45-degree angle.
Right.
And everything's crossed over and leaning. So it's almost like a severe double vision that I've got.
Right.
But if I use this eye, I lean and I start to topple. And if I walk, I can't walk without an eye patch because I will just fall to one side.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, once they ruled out that it was actually, it wasn't the eye injury, and they started looking at the brain, and then, that's when they determined that it was brain damage that was causing the issues with my vision.
What would you say, the biggest takeaway or the biggest struggle you had from suffering a brain injury?
For me, it was isolation. And that was down to where I lived. I was miles away from shops and there's no public transport and whatever. So for me, it was isolation. And I think anybody that has a brain injury needs to have the support of other people, but also you need to do things that get you speaking about what's happened to you and just getting on with life and socializing and not hiding away. I think that's really important, not to hide away.
Yeah.
So in 2016, your life was rewritten for you. So what have you done now to try and rewrite your life?
I think that started shortly after the accident, really. We knew I was certainly going to be off work for a year, at least a year. I was going to spend a lot of time on my own. We always wanted another dog, but this seemed like the right time for us to get a puppy.
Right.
So I think it was probably maybe 2-3 months after the actual accident. We tracked down a border collie puppy. I always wanted a border collie. So we tracked down a border collie puppy. He was the last one of the litter. And he... Sorry. I wouldn't have got... Sorry. I wouldn't have got through without him. Obviously my wife and family, but yeah, without him I wouldn't have got through it. Part of the thing with Rafa was we did a lot of walking together. So when we were walking, I was just taking a lot of phone pictures. His name is a constant reminder of cycling because we called him after my favourite cycling clothing brand. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know.
Right, okay. I was wondering where you came from,
yeah,
Rafa.
yeah. He's named after a pair of shorts or cycling top or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, no, that's what he's named after. Once he was old enough, after a year, we could start walking proper, and it was an 8-mile walk for a haircut for me. So we, 10, 16 miles, at least 10 miles a day, but we would walk longer. I was quite lucky. I had a taxi service provided for me, so we used to walk 25 miles to the beach and then get a taxi home. But that's why he's so special to me, because we bonded so much. But in those times, we were never apart. We were always together. I think it was 2 years before we actually did our first night apart, if you like. A friend of mine gave me a camera, so I started taking, if you like, proper pictures of him. And I started to really enjoy the photography. When everything was resolved in terms of work and what have you, I decided to enroll on a photography course just to see how I coped with the because I get quite tired. I suffer from fatigue and some speaking sometimes as well. So I enrolled on a photography course to see how that went, and that went really well. After I did that for a year, I enrolled on a degree. I did a commercial photography degree at the Arts University in Bournemouth. That's the way I see myself progressing now. I obviously was the oldest in the class. It was a bit weird with it being during the pandemic and doing a lot of it on Zoom. Once we opened properly, to be honest, I don't think they saw me as the old guy in the class, to be honest. And I've made some young but very, very, very good friends. Maybe, yeah. It's definitely. I think anybody that has an accident that causes them to stop doing what they were doing before, I think it's important that you challenge yourself to do something completely different and do something that you would never have had the opportunity to do before. So for me now, my identity is not a police officer, it's a photographer. And I think without it, I'd probably dwell too much on the past and what could have been and what should have been, as opposed to what it can be now.
I think you are the official photographer for this campaign, for Headway, so congratulations.
I am, which is why it's a bit strange sitting here with you, really. During my recovery, I didn't have any contact with Headway. That was, that was down to me, not Headway, obviously. But when I was at college, when I did that first initial photography course, I created as part of the course, I created a poster, and I based it around cycling injuries. I sent the poster. Well, I actually sent Headway an email asking if I could use their logo on the poster, and I showed them the poster, and that's when I became involved with Headway. And in some ways, they've helped me not through the difficult time, but they've helped me after that time. They kind of gave me a voice through the poster that I made. Like yourself, you talk about helping people through with their mental health and what have you. For me, it was about just giving me that one chance to put the poster I made out there. They put it out there. It became a bit of a campaign, and it just, for me, it was, they gave me a voice. They instead of me just looking at people not wearing helmets, they spoke for me. The poster spoke for me, and they spoke for me. And if it stopped one person coming off the bike and cracking their head because they didn't have a helmet on, then that's great.
So thank you for opening up and sharing that story with us, and thank you for being part of Headway's campaign. I'm sure you're going to inspire thousands of other people out there. Continue the work you're doing. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.